So chances are, if you're watching this, you are considering for sale by owning your home. So selling your home for sale by owner or private sale. So a couple of the things you need to think about before you list your home for sale is, first off, the condition. So are there any rot spots? Is there any cleaning that needs to be done? Like if you're still occupying the home, are you going to need to clean those baseboards? So some of the things that people look at after thousands of showings, I've noticed, are these top 3 things. They look at the baseboards because a lot of people with pets have pet hair, and as soon as they see pet hair on those baseboards, they start saying things like, "Ooh, it smells like dog in here," when it does not. Another thing they look for is any type of little spots in the wall in the bathroom, spots in the wall, any scuffs. Typically, you can just take a magic eraser and go over little areas of your house. First, I'd start off with a microfiber towel, and I'd wipe off those little scuffs and spots around the switches, around the corners of the walls. You know, sometimes if you have cats, they mark the walls, they use their lips, and they get little spots on the walls, things like that. You have dogs, sometimes they have a nice enjoyment of their water, and then they shake. So look for things like that. Go into the house with a fresh eye, like you've never been there before, and clean it accordingly. Another thing that I notice a lot of buyers look for is the cleanliness of the refrigerator, of all things. So look at the refrigerator. And another thing is, make sure your windows are nice and clean. Either hire a company or go ahead and give it a once over. So after you've got the place nice and clean and repaired, if you see any rot spots and things like that, what you don't want is, you don't want buyers to walk into your home and see things that they will need to fix or paint or repair and see it as a fixer-upper, because the price of a fixer-upper is down here, and you want to get the most money possible for your home, so you want to be up here. So this is something that's tried and true for my listings. I always talk to my sellers about getting those little things fixed. I got a guy who does ours, and he does an amazing job, and it's usually fairly cheap to fix some rotted wood, to fix some issues that are there. That spot in the bathroom where your toilet paper roll or towel holder has fallen off, fix that. It's usually a simple, cheap fix, and it makes the place look nice and put together. Because a lot of these houses that they're seeing are either brand new construction or immaculate, because they've used an agent and they've got that coaching on how to make their house look nice and how to make it look presentable. So you're going up against some stiff competition. Next, you're going to want to think about your price. So after you've got the place in good shape, think about the price. And I highly recommend getting a real estate agent to give you a comparative market analysis based on what the market sales are in the area. Or you could look at the Zillow. If you don't want anything to do with a real estate agent, I understand that. Some people just hate a real estate agent. So you can look at the Zestimate. It is not always accurate. You could be leaving thousands on the table or asking for thousands and thousands over what you have. So perhaps look at other properties that are listed in your neighborhood that are just like yours. I'm talking, don't count the doors that you upgraded and things like that. You can count when you upgraded the whole kitchen. You can count when it has all brand new appliances. You can count when it has all brand new flooring. But so many times a seller will walk into a listing appointment and say, "My place is way better than theirs." But you have vinyl siding everywhere, and they have a completely brick house. You can see that their house is made fully of brick. And so many people have that mindset of like, a brick house is stronger than a wood house. So you've got to fight those stigmas. So whatever you do, go into it thinking that your house may be a little bit less than amazing compared to their house. Try to have a sober viewpoint of your competition. And like personally, when I have my own properties and I'm considering listing it for sale, I'm looking at what the neighbors have theirs listed at, and I may go, $500 less, and like just hit them, be the lower price property, so the eyes go there, so the searches go there. And anytime you're thinking about listing it at $140,000 or $240,000 or $340,000, whatever your price bracket is, consider that $139,900 or $139,000, because so many people have their real estate agents set their search up at a number that is, hey, I don't want to look at properties that are over 340,000. So if your price is listed at 341,000, they're never going to see your listing. So I like to go just a tick under the nearest round number, and that gets you more exposure in searches. And also, realtors have what is called a reverse prospecting search, which is great. That's where we can't see any of the info of other agents' buyers, but we can see that their price, that we can see that one of our listings matches their price criteria, the number of bedrooms, the area, and things like that, and we can promote any of our sellers' properties to them. So that's another place where you might show up if you have a real estate agent, is through the reverse prospecting function. Now, if you're adamant on selling your house without a real estate agent, that's totally great, and a lot of people do that, but we want you to be safe. I don't care if I get the sale or somebody else gets the sale, or if you sell it yourself. I just want you to be safe. I never want to hear about anybody in my community or my area or this state or this country having a run-in with a predator or having a run-in with somebody who is dangerous. So as you are setting up your plan to sell your house, write it all down. Do not show your property before 9 a.m., 8 a.m., whenever the sun comes up. Don't allow showings before the sun comes up. Do not allow showings after the sun goes down or at the wee hours. Just go ahead and factor that each showing is probably going to take about an hour, and that's good, because if they're in there for an hour, they're looking at things, they really like the place, chances are. And also consider that people knocking on your door must schedule an appointment. Don't just let them in right now. We've had horror stories of people who have gotten injured, people who have gotten robbed, people who are sellers for sale by owners getting robbed or getting stabbed or getting shot. These terrible things have happened to people who are selling their homes when they answer the door when somebody knocks, or when they allow a showing at the moment. They must schedule it. You should be out of the house for your safety during any showings. You should be out of the house. You can have cameras in the house if you want, but keep in mind that you may be putting yourself liable for a fair housing violation. So if they throw you a lowball offer and you say no, or any offer and you say no, and you have cameras in that house, any buyer could easily say that, hey, they didn't like the way I looked. They didn't like my kind, or whatever the comment might be. And you don't want to set yourself up for a fair housing violation there. So just keep that in mind with your cameras and information that you can gather from that. We're also going to think about the different days we want to allow showings. You can totally say, hey, I only allow showings on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but try to at least include a weekend in there. And it's totally okay to have a real estate agent set an open house for you. That's a service that I offer to for sale by owners. You just tell me, hey, I'm not using an agent, period. Point blank, I'm not using an agent, but I am willing to pay for a buyer's side commission, because chances are, I think the statistics was somewhere around 92% or 82% of home sales in the United States had that buyer represented by a real estate agent. And why wouldn't they be? It comes at no cost to them. They're going to use a real estate agent. So they know that they're not going to have to pay a real estate, or they're not going to have to pay their real estate agent if they buy any other house on the market. So you don't want that to be a disadvantage to your house. So think about paying a real estate agent X amount commission if they bring a buyer to your house. That's going to make those agents want to market your house and want to share your house with their buyers, just like they would any other that is on the MLS. And consider this: if you decide you want to sell your house but you don't want to use a standard agent, there are what's called discount brokerages that offer limited service, but keep in mind you're still going to have to do all of the work in most cases. A lot of limited representation real estate brokerages will get it on the MLS for you, and so people can search it and find it, but they are also not going to be reviewing contracts with you, and a lot of times it just depends on what your contract is with them. They may not be they're not going to be screening these buyers who come to your house, who show up at your house. So the typical way it goes is, if I, as a real estate agent acting in my license, if I'm going to be showing a buyer homes, I go ahead and I do a background check. I make sure who's going to be with me is going to be safe for me to be around. I do a background check on them, and I ask them for a pre-approval letter. I make sure that they're serious about buying. We're not going to go into your space without me following them around. this is their showing. They can walk wherever they want, but I'm going in every single room with them. I'm there supervising and answering any questions that they have, because I have a printout sheet from the MLS that tells me all about the property that we're touring. So that's the normal method. Real estate agents act as that extra layer of security to verify that only pre-approved, pre-qualified, background checked individuals are coming into your home. So when you have a real estate agent showing your home, that's excellent for you, because you know that they've vetted the people working with them, most likely. So as you're continuing on and you're selling for sale by owner, those calls are going to start coming in. So go ahead and set your machine up to give them some information. If you want to only receive text requests for showings, go ahead and do that. You are going to receive, hey, we're in the neighborhood. Can we see the house in 30 minutes? Can we see the house in an hour? Go ahead and plan what your response is going to be for calls like that. Now, there are a lot of buyers out there that are scam artists, so beware of that. Title companies are going to be your best bet. They're likely going to be handling the closing of the transaction. It's the best way to go about doing it. The buyer's going to want to verify that the title is free and clear to sell, and also they're going to handle the payoff of your current mortgage if you have one, and all of that. So when you're working with a buyer and you get an offer in, be sure to request a proof of funds letter if they are paying cash. Be sure to request a pre-approval letter if they are using a lender, and make sure you have those documents and that those numbers are set to at least the asking price of your home or their offer price, so that they're not saying, hey, yeah, I got $100,000 in the bank, but my house is for sale for $400,000. That means nothing. So vet those clearly. Make sure that you're taking the time to verify that your offers will not be considered unless they are accompanied by a pre-approval letter or a proof of funds letter. And so that will protect you from just people wasting your time and wanting to see the house. That's another reason why you can ask for pre-approval letter or proof of funds when they want to see the house, is it's just one more layer. So you're not getting your whole group out of the house for buyers who aren't really serious. They're your neighbors or some people who live down the road who just want to see what your ranking is on whatever flag is hanging up or whatever uniform you have hanging up in your guest room. So another thing I'll say is this: get professional photography. If you are selling your house for sale by owner, the first impression is always the best impression. Your first impression is what they're going to see online. So go ahead and use professional photography. It's a few $100s in most cases. If you need a photographer, call me. I'm happy to share my photographer with you if you're here in the Emerald Coast, and we'll get you some professional photography. And even if you're not using me, I will share his information with anyone. He's a wonderful guy. So those are some of the things that you're going to need for selling your house for sale by owner. I always recommend working with a real estate agent, because I've had people who have called me panicked after the fact and said, we don't know what we're doing. We got this offer and we don't understand it. And I'm glad they called, because that offer was 100% in the benefit of the buyer. The buyer has a real estate agent, and that real estate agent wrote things on lines that a seller who is not a professional real estate agent would not know to look. So I know where to look on the contract to protect you, to look out for things that can be snuck in there where you would not expect. And anyway, I'm always happy to help out my for sale by owners with a safety checklist, with a blank contract so you know what you are getting. So there's a link below to a little for sale by owner guide. It's going to have a safety checklist on it. It's going to have a blank contract, as is in standard FAR contracts, because I am a real estate agent in Florida. I can only speak for Florida here. And that'll give you an idea of what the contract looks for. So when you receive it, you are not just shocked for the first time. And so just keep that in mind. Check out those blank forms. And a lot of buyers are going to want what's called a seller's disclosure. So I'll include a Florida blank seller's disclosure there as well. No, this isn't a mandatory document, but it is good to have. It shows good faith that you are sharing with your the buyer, hey, here's what I know about the property, here's how old the roof is, and I'm trying to be honest here. I'm telling you if there's anything weird about it, but be 100% honest on that document. Don't lie. If you are not sure, you can say you're not sure, but elaborate anywhere where you can elaborate. But those documents are going to be attached to the for sale by owner guide link below, and I hope this video was helpful. Really, you can absolutely sell a house for sale by owner. It's a lot of work, and there's going to be a lot of unexpected things that come up. After you're under contract, it's a bit too late for a real estate agent to step in. So if you just lay it all out and think about it, a lot of times homes sell for more money when you list with a real estate agent, because the investors and the people who are working with a real estate agent and know you're not, they are not going to lowball. Chances are they're not going to lowball you, because they know they have a real estate professional and negotiator on your side, and you're not going to roll over with a lowball offer. You know it could sell for more because your agent told you that it could sell for more. So just know that there are some benefits to working with a real estate agent, 100%, but you can absolutely sell a house without a real estate agent. I highly recommend that you use a title company. It's not super expensive. They keep some documents in order for you. They will help you through the transaction, and they will also reassure the buyers that the title's free and clear, and let you know if you need to close out any permits and things like that. So they're all around good to work with a title company. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. And please check out my for sale by owner guide below. There's contact information for me if you have any questions. And also, if you're for sale by owning and you're in the Emerald Coast of Florida, you can absolutely call me. I'll give you a comparative market analysis, and I'll share whatever I can with you to help you start off on the right foot, at least know what the market asking price should be. And I'll give you a range of price range for it, and I'll give you whatever resources I have to help you get your home sold on your own. But anyway, thank you so much. I am Realtor Sonja Rankin with Realty One Group Emerald Coast. I hope this was helpful, and have a wonderful day.